Why everything healthy is boring and damn hard to accomplish? Well, the simple answer is because you're programmed that way. You're basically a node inside this crazy system that has designed to do its job for this wheel of society going. You're not important at all. Like, what's important is what you can do, what you can give to the system. So you have to be programmed in a way that the system wants you to behave. Otherwise, the system will not survive. Otherwise, you will realize your individuality and you just easily come out of the system and create your own, let's say, way of living, right? So every healthy thing lies outside the boundaries of your program because you're programmed to create maximum amount of dopamine in your brain to be able to consume more. Otherwise, the system will not continue. Otherwise, the system will not survive the way that it is, because everything works based on maximizing profit. And how the system can maximize profit out of you is just by conditioning you deeply to stay a big consumer. Otherwise, then who's going to pay for all these products that being produced, right? And most of them are basically nonsense. You don't really need them in your life to be able to have a fulfilling life, right? In fact, you don't need any gadget to have a fulfilling life. But let's say we are in favor of technology and we want to use technology because technology is the best thing that could happen to humankind, right? But of course, it's not being used in a way that it should. So basically, whatever attempt that you have to have a healthier lifestyle or healthier um mental health, right? You will end up suffering because your programming was pretty artificial since your childhood to create more amount of dopamine for you to always create this need of having more dopamine because your natural release of dopamine will be in the boredom state. Like it's not going to generate that much value for your brain at this moment, right? Like when you have a bite of, let's say, McDonald's, your brain takes everything that it helps your brain to release as much dopamine as possible. Like basically each burgers are different, right? It depends on what taste and what compound exists in those, let's say, food. Then your brain creates certain amount of dopamine. So McDonald's will never want to create a healthy burger because healthy burger not necessarily will create that much dopamine in your brain. So they have to do all this taste engineering, brain engineering to find out how they can just create that hook for you to go have a bite of that burger, right? And when you go, for example, eat a meal that is completely vegetarian, let's say raw vegan, like that's why we make fun of vegan people, right? Because we find their food very boring and there is no joy in accomplishing that diet because why would you do that to yourself when you can have a really juicy bite, right? The fact is, any meal can be as tasty as McDonald's burger. Let's say this is an example. I'm not saying that McDonald's burger is the best taste or whatever. I'm just saying they are the worst in terms of corporation and engineering taste. And let's say, I think they call it craveability these days. They don't want to label it as addiction, things that make you an addict, right? So they call it craveability, but actually it's just like engineering to create an addict from you in so many things. It's not only food industry. All industries are just doing brain engineering to be able to give the most amount of dopamine or to create the most amount of need in you to buy their product. So everything is just artificially programmed, right? To get you into that consumption world. So the slightly when you go healthy lifestyle, everything all of a sudden loses taste, become boring because let's say food, you want to have a better body, healthier body, then food becomes boring all of a sudden, right? Because it doesn't create that much taste anymore. Until you just rewire yourself, until you deprogram yourself back to the reset factory, your brain, to be able to enjoy the taste of a cucumber, for example. And that's possible. Your brain is capable of doing all rewiring fairly fast. Uh, it's heavily raining right now, and I think that was enough for now. You get the point? Yeah, I think you get the point. Perhaps the rain stops. I don't know. Perhaps the camera will get wet in the microphone. But it's a great weather. It's a great weather here. Yeah, healthy lifestyle. It's hard because your brain is conditioned that way. And you need to decondition your brain. You need to rewire yourself. Thank you for watching.